Hello, this is Pearl, and today I'm going to read Little Pilgrim's Progress, Chapter 18. Little Christian receives his armor. Little Christian spent 3 whole days at the Palace Beautiful. On the second day, discretion allowed him to see the armory. This was a large room in which were stored all kinds of weapons for the use of the king's servants. Here Christian saw long rows of shining helmets, shields, and breastplates of the finest brass, glittering swords and shoes that Charity told him could never be worn out. And he noticed that these were not all intended for grown-up persons. There were helmets that he felt sure were too small even for him, and tiny swords that seemed only fit for children to play with. "Are they toys?" he asked. "No," said Piety. "They are for the little pilgrims." Then Christian could not help thinking how very much he would like to have a sword and shield of his own, and be one of the king's little soldiers. Piety sat down by one of the windows in the armory and told Christian about the wonderful things that some of the king's soldiers had done. The story he liked best was that of a boy named David, who, when he was young, had fought with a great giant and had been able to kill him. "The giant was one of the king's enemies," said Piety. He thought he could easily kill little David. He was covered with armor from head to foot, and David wore only a shepherd's dress and carried neither sword nor spear. "What did he fight with?" asked Christian. "He had a sling and a stone, and when he threw the stone at the giant, the king helped him, and he aimed so well that he struck the giant on the forehead and killed him." This story comforted little Christian, for if the king had helped David, no doubt he would be ready to help any other little pilgrim who trusted in him. On the third day, Christian said to Prudence, "Is it not time for me to go on my journey?" "Not yet," answered Prudence. "It is misty this morning, and you have not seen the view from the roof of the palace." So little Christian spent another happy day. In the morning, when he opened his window, he found that the mist had all passed away, and as soon as breakfast was over, the 3 girls took him up to the roof. It was flat so that people could easily walk upon it, or even sit there in the pleasant summer weather. Christian looked toward the south, and far away in the distance he could see a long range of beautiful hills, with broad green fields and vineyards and shady woods. He could even see the streams sparkling in the sunlight as they flowed down into the quiet valleys. "Oh," he exclaimed, "what a lovely country that must be." "Yes," said Piety, "that is Emmanuel's land, and the way of the king passes through it. The hills are called the Delectable Mountains, and from them you will be able to see the gates of the celestial city." "Will it take me long to get there?" asked Christian. "I do not know," answered Piety. "You are a little pilgrim, and cannot travel very fast." Just then they heard the voice of Discretion calling to them. "We must let little Christian start in good time," she said, "in order to reach the valley before the sun is hot." "I am ready," began Christian, but Charity interrupted him. "No, he is not ready, is he, Mother? We have something more to do for him, have we not?" "Yes," replied Discretion, and she led the way to the armory. Between the palace and the celestial city, the king's enemies are often very troublesome, and even the little pilgrims need to carry weapons. Christian's cheeks glowed with pleasure when he found that he was ready to have a suit of armor for his very own. And Discretion and her daughter seemed pleased also. "I like to see you made into a soldier," said Charity, and Christian wished that Christiana could have been there too. "You must take care of your armor," said Discretion, as she chose out a helmet of the right size. "It must always be kept bright and shining." Then Piety brought him a shield, which was just large enough to protect him, and not too heavy for him to carry. Prudence fastened the sword at his side, and Charity fitted on his shoes. Then, when he was completely dressed, Discretion bent down and kissed him, as she had done before, saying, "May the blessing of the king go with you, my child, and may you continue as his faithful soldier and servant all the days of your life." Little Christian felt too happy to speak, so he just put his arms around Discretion as if she had been his own mother, and she well understood that his heart was full of love and gratitude. "You must thank the king," she said. "It is he who gives you all these things."